For example, let's say rather than spending 150 amount, the consumer is using only 120 rupees. There is an unspent amount of 30 rupees. Using this 30 rupees, the person can purchase more mangoes. Or else, the consumer can purchase more apples. And also, the consumer can purchase a combination of mangoes and apples more. So what more is preferred to less property says is always a rational consumer prefer more amounts from commodities than less amount from commodities. If this consumer is not spending this 30 rupees, the person will not be able to increase the consumption of mangoes or apples or both of mangoes and apples. That is why we say a utility maximizing consumer always should spend the total budget he or she has. If there is any part of unspent income, unspent budget, that unspent budget will not generate any satisfaction for the consumer. In order to maximize satisfaction, the consumer should spend the total amount of budget he or she has. We identified 2 points where the consumer will consume only mangoes and only apples. By using those 2 points, we can sketch the budget constraint for this consumer. We understood that the consumer is given 150 rupees. Price of one mango is 30 rupees. Price of an apple is 15 rupees. So if the consumer is consuming only mangoes, the person can purchase 5 mangoes. The person has 150 rupees. We divide that total amount by the unit price of mangoes. That is one extreme point. On the other hand, the person can spend 150 rupees only on apples. By doing so, the person can purchase 10 units of apples. If we draw the budget constraint, putting mangoes per week on the horizontal axis and apples per week on the vertical axis, we can mark these 2 points in this diagram. When the consumer is purchasing only mangoes, when the consumer is purchasing only apples. Let's think about the first point. The person is consuming only mangoes. Apple consumption is 0. In that situation, this person is purchasing 5 units of mangoes. And on the other hand, when the person is purchasing only apples, consumption of mangoes is 0. In this situation, the person can purchase 10 units of apples. The equation we gave for the budget constraint was I equals PM into M plus PA into A. By looking at this equation, we simply understand that this is a linear equation. This is a linear equation. To draw a linear equation in a diagram as a curve, we should identify only 2 points on the curve. We have already identified those 2 points. One is the vertical intercept, and the other point is the horizontal intercept. By combining these 2 points using a straight line, we derive the budget constraint for this consumer, which represents 150 rupees of budget, and the curve shows all possible combinations of apples and mangoes that this person can purchase by spending 150 rupees fully. So this diagram is what we discussed before. The person is consuming apples and mangoes. Along the curve, we have different combinations of mangoes and apples, which cost the same amount, 150. When apple consumption is 0, consumer is able to purchase 5 units of mangoes by spending 150 rupees. When mango consumption is 0, the person is able to purchase 10 units of apple by spending 150 rupees. And in between these two extremes, we have some other different combinations. For example, the point B2 combines 2 apples with 4 mangoes. That combination also costs 150 rupees. Likewise, we have B3 combination, B4 combination, and B5 combination. All these combinations cost 150 rupees. And think about 2 points B7 and B8. What we can say about B7? B7 combines 4 units of apple and 8 units of mangoes. To purchase this combination of apples and mangoes, how much this person needs? Price of an apple is 15 rupees. Price of a mango is 30 rupees. Here at point B7, the person is purchasing 4 units of apple. Then the cost on apple is 4 into 15, 60 rupees. And the person is consuming 8 units of mangoes. The cost on mangoes is 8 into 30, 240 rupees. So in total, to consume at point B7, the person needs an amount of 300 rupees, which is beyond the available budget. Consumer has only 150 rupees, but to purchase at point B7, the person needs 300 rupees. Therefore, the bundle B7 is not affordable. B7 is not an affordable bundle for this consumer. And next, think about B8 point. It combines 4 units of apples and 2 units of mangoes. How much this person wants to consume at point B8? Cost on apples is 4 into 15. 60 rupees. Cost on mangoes will be 2 into 30, again 60 rupees. So in total, the person has to incur a cost of 120 rupees to purchase 4 apples and 2 mangoes to consume at point B8. So when a person is consuming at a point which lies below the budget constraint, that person does not want to fully utilize the available budget for him or her. At point B, the consumer spends only 120 rupees. The total budget available for the consumer is 150. So there is 30 rupees remaining. Points above the budget constraint are not affordable for the consumer. Point below the budget constraint are affordable, but those combinations do not require the consumer to fully spend the available budget. Okay, you have the basic idea about the budget constraint. Let's define the budget constraint more technically. Budget constraint is a linear curve. Yes, we observed that the budget constraint is a linear curve. Always it is a linear curve. It shows all possible combinations of 2 goods. We have to limit our discussion only to 2 goods because we draw this linear curve in a 2-dimensional graph. Therefore, budget constraint shows combinations of only 2 goods. And those combinations are affordable for the consumer when the person is spending the entire income available for the person. And we have to analyze these possible combinations during the period under consideration at the given prices. Budget constraint is the linear curve that shows all combinations of 2 goods that a consumer can afford if the whole income is spent on the 2 goods in concern over a certain period of time at given prices. Prices, they are given for us, for the consumer, because prices are determined in the markets. A single consumer can't affect on the market determined prices. Therefore, whatever the price determined in the market has to be taken, has to be paid by individuals. So far, what we discussed was budget constraint graphically with the general formula we can give for the budget constraint. When the consumer is consuming only two goods, X and Y, the mathematical formula we can give for the budget constraint is Px into X plus Py into Y. We drew the budget constraint in the two-dimensional graph by putting X on the horizontal axis, Y on the vertical axis. In mathematics, a linear curve's functional form is y equals a plus bx. Y is the variable on the vertical axis. X is the variable on the horizontal axis. A is the intercept. Simply, intercept is the value of y when x is 0. Value of y when x is 0. So A is the vertical intercept. B is the slope of this function. Slope means the change in the variable on the vertical axis, change in the variable on the vertical axis in response to 1 unit change in the variable on the horizontal axis. Slope is change in the variable on the vertical axis, which is y. So the change in y we denote as delta y. In response to a 1 unit change in the variable on the horizontal axis, change in x. When x changes by 1 unit, by how much y will change? So that is what the slope measures. Delta y over delta x. Since this is a linear curve, the slope value between points on this curve will not change. At any point on this budget constraint, the slope value will be the same. Now we are going to transform our budget constraint we derived earlier, I equals px into x plus py into y, to this standard form of a linear function. This is a simple mathematical expression for the budget constraint. We are going to transform this simple mathematical expression to this standard form of a linear function. We are going to find the value for A and the value for B. The budget constraint, the initial expression is I equals px into x plus py into y. I am going to So I am going to rearrange this expression into a new expression where the subject is y. I'm going to derive a new expression for y. So as the first step, let's rearrange these terms in the function. I bring py y to one side and all the other terms to the other side. Py I keep on one side and I bring this px x to the other side. When I bring this px into x to the other side, it becomes minus px into x. It remains on this side as before. I bring pxx to the side where I appears, so it becomes I minus px into x. So this is the first step. Next, I want to isolate y on the left-hand side of this expression. To do that, what I have to do is divide both sides by py. Py into y divided by py. This py in the numerator is cancelled out to py in the denominator. As a result, what we are left on the left hand side is simply y. On the right hand side, we have two terms in the numerator. The first term is I. Divide I by py. And the next term in the numerator is minus px into x. Let's divide that also by py. Now we have derived an expression y equals I divided by py minus px into x divided by py. So compare the mathematical notation we gave for a linear function. Let's recall it. Y equals a plus bx. So y is there on the left hand side. A, which is the intercept. What is the term in our new function which is related to the intercept? I over py is the intercept in our new budget line formula. Then what is b? B is the slope as we learned before. Minus px over py becomes the slope value of our new formula. So the intercept is I over py, the slope is minus px over py. This expression perfectly explains the algebraic features of the diagram we can draw for a budget constraint.